We're back.
Offense starts. That's where it begins for us. As for Rutgers, aside from giving up that long run near the end of the first half, head coach Greg Schiano was pleased with his defensive play in the first two quarters. He said his players on that side of the ball have settled in, and he's expecting more in the second half. As for his offense having some issues finishing in the red zone, he simply said, "We can't turn the ball over."
That is the theme of this game for sure through one half of play. Now we'll see if Rutgers can sustain a drive here to start this second half. Pressure up the middle. Alec Manis gets to his number one receiver.
Come on,
Miller. They'll move the sticks on first down.
And they brought pressure from the linebacker again, just unable to get any pressure on Calvin. And a good long developing route, another completion over the middle. They've had a handful of these 10-yard plus completions on first down.
Little breathing room for the Scarlet Knights. Manangai gets the hole and bursts through it. He'll get 5. Manangai with just 41 yards in that first half on 11 carries.
Say 5 yards. Come on, defense.
Pedestrian first half by his standards. Second leading rusher in the country coming into this game in terms of yards per game. Cole Nelson banged up on the play.
Yeah, I think a lot has to do with what Virginia Tech's doing up front defensively. A lot of slants, a lot of times where the linebackers are kind of hovering, allowing the front to kind of take up some blocks. And it's been patient play by this defense.
You know what else we've seen this week that we saw in week 1 but not week 2, and that's the presence of Brown.
Yeah.
And Sam Brown is a handful. When you've got Brown as a 1-2 punch to give Manangai a little bit of a break, that works just well for Rutgers. Nelson's going to walk off under his own power, jog off. That's a good sign.
And we've seen a bunch of times where Rutgers has really had no problem moving the ball down the field. It's when they've gotten in the red zone where you saw the turnover, you saw the missed field goal. Yeah, this could be a much more lopsided score if it weren't for those events. And we really haven't seen Antoine Powell-Ryland, the star defensive end, number 52, get going for Virginia Tech yet.
Came into this game with 4.5 sacks, second in the country. Manangai. See the moves and the balance as he turns nothing into something. He was able to pick up 2 yards.
Yeah, Kaliak Manis, during that last stoppage of play, I'm wondering what this guy ate at halftime.
Ooh, that's not good.
It's like Willie Beeman out there.
Right. I don't know whether to say good job or bad job by our camera crew in terms of capturing that one.
Well, they
He
said
just
producers
vomit.
in there. Should we show it? I said absolutely.
I'm not cleaning this
No
up.
preface for this big third down.
Big third down at midfield. Strong in motion. Callie Manis rolls the pocket
Wide
against the
open.
tight end. And once again, Fletcher makes the grab and moves the chains. Delane came up to make the stop, but that play has been money for Rutgers today.
Yeah, it's been fantastic. It's been, Kenny Fletcher is a guy who, if they can get him going on offense, he only had 5 catches this season coming into this game. Already has 6 catches today.
Mansour Delane, we mentioned, was in on the tackle, shaken up a bit for the Hokies. We'll check in on him when we come back.
Little rivalry between SMU and TCU. Horned Frogs go for it on 4th and 1, but Josh Hoover fumbles the ball. Brandon Crossley scoop and score a 51-yard touchdown for the Mustangs. 10-0 SMU over TCU. Looking good for the ACC members right now, Cotter.
Thank you, Taylor. Battle for the Iron Skillet, SMU and TCU. Here it's not looking so good for the ACC team in this ACC Big Ten matchup. Manangai continuing to pour it on. Another 4 yards on first down into Virginia Tech territory. It's 67, Rutgers on top, and continue to utilize his 2-back set with Brown and Manangai to outstanding results. Now Brown is in. This time Strong is wide open, down the sideline. Finally brought down at the 16. Rose Phillips tracked him down. But even when the play looks different, Mark, I feel like when they roll Couch Manis out, he finds an open receiver in the flat.
No, he does, and that's what they've been working. In the past game, they've been working the sidelines, whether it's a flat route or the wheel routes by the inside slot receiver. And in the run game, they've been working. So that's how they decided to attack this Virginia Tech team. And to Virginia Tech's credit, they've made Rutgers work. Not a lot of huge, big plays that have resulted in touchdowns. They've forced Rutgers to snap the football again and again.
The 7th pass completion of at least 15 yards for Couch Manis. Brown reverses his field. Still churning his feet. Still churning. Pushing the pile forward. That's a first down. Outstanding effort not only by Samuel Brown, but also his offensive line.
6'1", 225-pound running back, and he's wrapped up. He's around the waist, around his back. Look at the offensive line, the big ugly push-up.
Big old Tyler Needham in there.
Offensive line coach Pat Flaherty happy about that one.
Look at Holland Pierce there, 72, making his 40th start of his career at that left tackle spot. 6'8", 344. And Brown cuts it inside and scores again.
Oh my God.
2 for Brown, 1 for Monongai. And Rutgers increases their lead. 8 plays and 75 yards, Mark.
Yeah, and another up-the-middle run by Rutgers, and it's really been the vision of these running backs. This time Sam Brown just does a great job of understanding where the linebackers are flowing, cutting back, and moving uphill. And you got the 1-yard line with a 225-pound back. Tough to...
Playoff Foundation's Extra Yard for Teachers Week each year to celebrate great teachers across the country who have inspired so many of us. Nominate a great teacher in your community by visiting cfpfoundation.org. For more on this, let's send it down to Coley.
Hey, Chris, one educator I'd like to highlight is Mrs. Kathy Fry. She's Virginia Tech head coach Brent Fry's mom. For more than 30 years, Kathy Fry worked in a variety of school systems around the country. She mainly focused on special education. And as you guys know, Brent's dad, Jim, was an assistant football coach for years. Started as a grad assistant at Marshall in 1973. And his coaching gigs took the family all over. So Kathy worked in West Virginia, Pennsylvania, and here in this Commonwealth as well.
All right, great stuff, Coley. Thomas Williams looking for a crack. Find a little bit of a seam, but fails to get it out to the 20. That's where Virginia Tech will take over during the break, Mark. You and I were just kind of talking about how this is a big drive for Virginia Tech. Down 23-7, even though it's early in the second half. Rutgers is really kind of taking the crowd out of the stadium, and they've taken control of this game.
Yeah, you get the feeling that Virginia Tech, they really need a touchdown. They need to cross the end zone here on this drive, and I wouldn't be surprised if they go back to the design quarterback run with Kyron Drones and the option with Bashal Tootin.
We've got Tootin in the backfield with him. Drones keeps it. It looked like he had all fumbles the football. Rutgers players say it's theirs. No signal from the official yet. This is a huge call, and it is Rutgers' ball. Well, that's the exact opposite of what we said Virginia Tech needed on that drive. On the first play, Drones puts the ball on the ground, and Rutgers recovers, and they're in great field position to start this drive, already up 23-7.
Yeah, I think it was Jabome, the linebacker, who does a really good job of the hit on Drones. You see he was working on the guard, number 75, just beats him, puts his shoulder right on the football. Patient play, sees his quarterback, connects, and you have got to hold on to that football. We just talked about how important that play was, and Shiano, it's all about turnovers. It's all about creating big plays on the defensive side of the ball, and Rutgers comes up with another huge one.
Manis gives it to Monongai. Picks up 4 yards. Keller on the stop. Mark, You and I talk about it a lot. Your experience, how do you take the heart out of a defense? 4 yards, 4 yards, 4 yards to death.
And it just, you have to continue to play football, right? And you know, not only do you take the emotion out of the offense and the defense, but you take the emotion out of the crowd. I mean, this is a massive home field advantage when this crowd's into it, but if you're running the football consistently on the ground versus this defense, the crowd has nothing to cheer about.
Once again, hits Fletcher.
Same play. It's just the same play.
It gets even 5 more yards.
And they're picking on these linebackers. And it's just, they have to have their eyes right. They're so focused on Kyle Manungai. And watch here, watch the linebacker. You got to stay with number 12. Okay, he's crossing. It's every single time they do that, these linebackers' eyes are wrong. And it allows these easy completions for Kaliakmanis.
What are we doing?
7th catch of the day for the tight end. He came in with 5 over their first 2 games. Miller in motion. Manungai tries to bounce it outside. Not a whole lot of success. Caleb Woodson on the tackle, 25, and Red's been active.
Yeah, and there's Caleb Woodson coming back and making a good play against the run, right? I mean, we've seen a lot of Caleb Woodson do good things stopping the run. It's these linebackers' eyes that they need to be better. And, you know, Caleb Woodson is only a true sophomore, very talented player. But you got to know, okay, the tight end's off the ball some. Does he have a possibility of coming back to me?
Manungai, nowhere to go. That time wrapped up in the backfield of E.S. Peebles. Great job of penetration, dropping him for a loss. Yeah,
watch this arm over, and E.S. Peebles working on the guard. Really good job of getting that connection arm over. And a TFL, and this is what Virginia Tech has been able to do. They've been able, for the most part, be able to make Rutgers have to really earn it down in the red zone. Rutgers was successful last time out, but had been held to a missed field goal and fumbled the ball down the other end of the field.
3rd and goal, Rutgers 7 of 11 on 3rd down for the game. Kaliakmanis is going to run it himself. Right to the goal line and can't quite get in, but he's right there at the 1. What are you doing here now, Cristiano? 4th down on the 1.
I'm going for it. I'm sending my big guys in the game. I'm going for it. With Kyle Manungai or Sam Brown maybe in the game, big 220-pound running back, but you've already done this once, right? You've already put your defense out there, try to stop Virginia Tech coming out of their own end zone, forced to safety, so you pick this one up, you pretty much put the nail in the coffin on this game. If you don't, Virginia Tech has to drive 99 yards.
Coach Shiano wants a timeout. Play clock was winding down. Late get the play in, and Shiano might have had his eyes on calling a timeout all the while to talk this one over. Big play in the second half. The 11th annual Red Bandana Game comes your way tonight on the ACC Network. Michigan State at Boston College from Alumni Stadium at Chestnut Hill. 8 o'clock Eastern, they'll kick. West Tom and Dana are on hand, as well as Taylor and that crew. They've been there all day. Always looking forward to that game. Always an emotional game in Chestnut Hill, honoring Wells Crowther, hero on 9/11. Always a big deal for not only current Boston College players, but all the fans. And Mark, you can testify to the alumni around the country. It's a big deal. As is this play in this game. 4th down and goal for Rutgers.
Come on.
Kaliakmanis keeps. This time he couldn't get it to the tight end, and Virginia Tech holds.
Caleb Spencer's eyes were right on this play, and it's a do-your-job play. And Rutgers decides, hey, we're not going to just try to slam it up the middle, but watch on the outside right there. You get great eyes by the defender. Great coverage by the corner, by the safety. And a good job triggering on the quarterback, a huge play, and now Virginia Tech has to get it out of their own end zone.
Drones will look to throw. Tight end Josh now. Eric Rodgers now.
I mean, how big is that stop for Virginia Tech? If Rutgers scores that, you go 30-7. Just you feel like it's completely deflated. Now they have a chance. Another red zone stop for Virginia Tech.
Two again to throw. Or Drones rather has his receiver. That's Felton. Overshoots him twice today now. He's had 9, streaking alone behind the defense and hasn't been able to hook up on the big play.
That's disappointing in a lot of ways. Kyler Drones last year was not super accurate over the middle, but he did a good job of throwing deep balls. I mean, there have been twice today where Daquan Felton has been completely behind everybody, and Kyler Drones has not been able to deliver the football. 7 for 15 today, only 75 yards through the air, under 50% completion percentage.
Now third down. Drones. Trying to get it to, can't quite connect with him either. Jalen Lane this time. Bo Masco on the coverage. That was a better thrown ball, but Lane couldn't bring it in.
It's tough to go
That's pass
99 yards on a drive and score points, and you try to take a couple shots there. You kind of feel like you get that big stop, you don't get a first down, and now Rutgers is going to have great field position again.
Moore is punting from deep into his own end zone. Rutgers brings some pressure, but Moore gets it away. That's a good kick. Going to force Dremel to watch it sail out of bounds right at midfield, and that's where Rutgers will take over. Coach on the right. A lot of happy and sad people in the ACC today when you think about what happened. What was going on in the conference earlier? First of all, it started last night. Cardinals did a great job of coming across the country and beating Syracuse in the Dome. Then look at these two scores. 59 points, Clemson beating NC State, and James Madison hung 70 on North Carolina today. 53 in the first half. What is going on? This game is a little bit more sane, but Rutgers is showing their prowess and that they're going to be a team that the rest of the Big Ten is going to have to deal with. As Callie Manis again hits his receiver Ian Strong.
Come on, team. Play some defense.
None of it, because it was earlier today, but from the start, from the jump, that was all Clemson.
Yeah, and Klubnik looked good. You kind of think about the start to his season versus Georgia. A lot of people were doubting what he could do, and then he came back the last couple of weeks and played really, really well. Starting to look more like that Georgia game was the fluke.
Certainly, I think after Miami in this conference, there's a search for that second team that is going to have a big, especially second half of the season to compete with the Hurricanes atop the conference standings. And maybe ultimately it will be Clemson. Maybe it'll be Louisville. Maybe it'll be Georgia Tech. They're battling right now in Louisville. That was a close game at the half.
You know what I've realized covering the ACC for the past 6 years is that week 3, you can't crown anyone anything, right?
Especially this year.
There's a long way to go.
Rutgers again on the move. 2nd down and 8. They have more than doubled up Virginia Tech's time of possession in this game as they have just taken this crowd. Sellout crowd here at Lane Stadium out of the game early.
You talk about time differential. It's also play differential. Rutgers has run 56 plays to only 33 offensive plays that Virginia Tech is running. They just have not been able to sustain drives.
First penalty against Rutgers on the day, moves him back 5 yards. Callie McManus going deep. Overshoots his receiver, Fletcher. Caleb Woodson in coverage, tight coverage in his linebacker spot.
Yeah, that time good pressure to the quarterback's right, forcing the errant throw. And we just haven't seen a ton of Virginia Tech getting to Callie McManus. That time was a really good job by that left-hand side of the defensive front.
Haven't seen this very often either. 3rd and 13 for Rutgers in this game. Went on guy. He's able to pick up 8 before Woodson brings him down. 7, it'll bring up 4th and 6. Interesting spot of the field.
Yeah, this is a spot on the field where you really go either way. Sometimes you try to take a penalty and give your kicker or your punter a little bit extra room to pin it deep.
Yeah.
But I think with the way that Rutgers has been punting the football, they're actually going to line up for a long field goal.
They brought Patel out, 53 yards. He was hitting from 51, just after 50 in warm-ups, pre-game warm-ups. This is 53. Extremely accurate kicker, but usually not the one with the long leg. Play clock winding down, and
Play clock, that's 0.
yeah,
Been at
it's
0.
been at 0.
Yeah, see now
That decision is pretty much made.
Now you punt.
But Shiano unhappy with something that went on down there at the sideline. I'm not sure that was the original plan.
Well,
Patel is still out there.
This now what is 56
Really
yards?
going to try a 58-yard kick? In pre-game warm-ups, we saw Dane Pizarro, who's the true freshman, was really booting him from long range. He hit a 60 in pre-game warm-ups, but staying with Jay Patel, 58 yards.
Oh my goodness.
Come on!
When we saw Frank Beamer
Stop getting
earlier on,
offside.